Recording. Welcome everybody. Glad you could join us. Tonight we're going to talk about women's health and hormones, specifically the products that you can take to help with women's health and hormones. I am a big expert of that. No, I'm just kidding. So Jade's going to take it away. Take it away, Jade.
All right, we're going to share that screen. So if you have any questions so far, anybody? No? Okay, so tonight we'll just talk about the hormones, and this is not just for women, it's for men too. So you guys out there, you can watch this and benefit from this too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Man, boobs, other
so
hormonal
let's
problems.
go to the next slide, please.
Okay.
So we're going to talk about the philosophy of our body. I'll post and some information about philosophy too, but we really have to understand that our body knows how to heal, that our body is, the cells in our bodies are constantly communicating with each other. It's scanning and it's talking to each other. So you need to kind of understand that's where we're coming from, and that our bodies know how to adjust and balance. Okay, so can we go back to the first slide just to make sure I covered everything? The next one, back. Yep. Okay, and we'll cover hormones. Oops, and we talk about xenoestrogens. You go.
Sorry, I'm driving. I feel like I'm, I got a backseat driver here.
Yep. Pause. Today we'll talk about the role of estrogen and progesterone, and we have, of course, our cousin Debbie Gordon here to help add to it today, because she's an amazing nurse and full of knowledge about lots of these things. We are going to make some suggestions for things that we can do on a daily basis to help maintain that healthy hormone balancing, and we'll talk about moods and emotions. All right. So like I said, the philosophy is that we can heal and that we can take control of our bodies. So like, this is just a fun picture of just the outside of your cells. The outside of your cells have these, I would say, feelers. They call them receptor sites, which just scans the horizon for information, for electrical pulses, for chemicals. And when it finds the right one, it can trigger a response, an activity. So basically that's what our cells do. That's how it communicates. Yep. Unfortunately.
So does everybody understand that diagram there? This is basically a cell wall. Everybody understand that? Yeah. Okay. Yep. Good.
Yep.
So that's how your body communicates with chemical and electrical signals. Yeah.
Unfortunately, sometimes our receptor sites atrophy if we have a lot of chemicals in our system. I read on New York Times about four years ago that one year of antidepressants atrophy your receptor sites by 60%. So that's kind of scary. When your receptors are atrophied, it's not able to communicate with other cells. It's not able to help produce the right levels of chemicals. And that's when we have problems.
All Stop. Right. Jade?
Yes.
Can you repeat that one more time?
Okay. Back to 1 year.
Sorry.
He asked some question.
Sorry.
That's okay, Debbie, I'll answer it.
That was Ben. Ben's calling you. Okay. We'll mute her for a minute.
All right.
We'll go back and explain it to her later when she comes back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, do you want to go to the next slide?
I think she can watch the recording.
Yeah, go ahead and explain it. We're right.
All righty. So, Debbie, are you there?
Wait, she's emerging from the background.
No!
Sorry, we're just going to shut you off every time you beep. Okay, go ahead, Jade. Answer your question.
Okay, so your receptor sites, it atrophies because it isn't used. So we have antidepressants and drugs for the brains, but it was especially antidepressants that I read about. It atrophies your brain receptor sites by 60% in 1 year, which means your body doesn't have, a good ability to scan and communicate. The cells can't communicate very well. Okay, and so that's when people suffer from even more depression because their body's not producing the happy chemicals it needs. So a lot of times people might get a snapshot of your chemical levels at the time and then give you a diagnosis right there and then. But the interesting thing is we are dynamic creatures. We change all the time. If we're happy, one moment that level, the happy chemical levels are really high. But if we're sad, which is usually with the time when we go to the doctors, the reading is going to be different, you see. And they'll say, hey, looks like you're depressed. No, of course I'm depressed. That's why I'm here. And so that's what we want to do. We want to help clear out the receptor sites, help the cells communicate again, and be able to produce the chemicals it needs to balance, because it keeps balancing. It doesn't just stay in one level all the time. So sometimes you need more of serotonin or dopamine or whatever chemicals, endorphins. Your body will know. But that's what I'm saying. You got to trust your body. It's not broken. It's not like, okay, you're not producing this much. Here's this exact amount that you need to take every single day. When you are not sad, you are not able to be happy either. Okay, do you understand that one? Yeah. So so we're going to move on. Okay, so these are some of the symptoms of hormone imbalance. So sometimes we just look at things from a very narrow point of view and just say, okay, this is what my problem is. Say weight gain. This is my problem. Hair. What oils do I use for hair? What products do I use for hair? And sometimes we need to look at the big picture and realize, wait a minute, there's several of these symptoms that I have. Maybe it's because my brain is not producing the right kind of chemicals, the right kind of hormones that I need. Okay, does that make sense? I had this class sometimes and some people would say, hey, that's all of me. Wow, that's a lot of stuff. Okay, next. Alrighty, so we talked about the receptor sites as another representation of it. So there's a chemical called a hormone, a natural hormone called xenoestrogen, found in a lot of places, and basically it pretends to be like our regular estrogen, but it actually is much more powerful. So it'll trigger unintended signals in our bodies.
And it'll block the receptor sites that are meant for estrogen.
Mm-hmm. So it's not good. So you see it looks like estrogen, but it's not. It's, like you compare a normal sedan car to a monster truck. So sometimes you just need this sedan car to take you from A to B, and that's all you need. So you only need a little bit of your certain estrogen level to do the job that it needs to do in your body. But here's this, big guy that comes along and is really unnecessary, and it's actually causing harm.
Yeah, throw your body out of balance.
Mm-hmm. Alrighty. Where is Sarah? She'll watch the recording, babe. Yeah. Okay, so these are the top 10 sources of estrogen according
xenoestrogen.
Xenoestrogen. So just think of.
So we're kind of laying the groundwork of all the problems that of hormone imbalancing, and we're going to talk about the products that help.
Because sometimes we just think that we're broken. This is how we are, but we're not. It's a lot of the environment that we're in. Plays a big part in why we have these hormone imbalance. Okay, so cans, there's a lining in cans that is a petrochemical like BPA, and that is pure xenoestrogen in there. So when we buy foods with that, we are ingesting a lot of xenoestrogens in our system. Fish or farmed seafood, they've been fed with corn and other grains that have a lot of xenoestrogen, because the xenoestrogens are used to make the grains grow bigger, and it's fertilizers. You see? Okay. And tap water, a lot of tap water is overly processed, and it has a lot of these plastic-like chemicals in them.
So the idea is to avoid toxins by using filtered water instead of tap water.
Yep. So buy wild and buy food in jars or make your own. Plastics, BPA-free plastics or glass is best. Okay. I have a niece who, sorry, just gonna tell a quick story. She's a doTERRA baby. So her mum, thanks to the doTERRA oils, I told her to cleanse, and her husband cleansed for a whole year. They did lots of detoxing. They took good care of themselves, ate very clean, and then before they had a baby, because they wanted a healthy baby. And so they had a very, very good pregnancy the whole way through, birthed the baby perfectly thanks to Debbie Gordon's tutelage. I was able to help her, and it was awesome. So this is our doTERRA baby, right? So she's very intelligent, very sharp, and she's very sensitive to stuff. She's great at eating healthy foods, but when you give her something in plastic that is not the BPA free, her face breaks out in rashes. It's that quick. Her body knows what is synthetic. I was amazed. I thought, how did this baby react so quickly to something synthetic like that? And it's what's right about her. It's like, oh, that's not good for me. And then we straight away know that, hey, from now on we feed her everything in the proper containers that it's not poisonous. So very good. So we have farmed factory animals that are fed all of this stuff with hormones that is xenoestrogen. Okay, so best to buy grass-fed meat if you want to eat meat, because the grass-fed cow meat is very balanced in their omega oils anyways, so you don't have a ridiculous high amount of the omega-6 in your beef, so that's good. So of course we have pollution that we smell in the air. Lots of the pollution has xenoestrogens, and so the solution is to use essential oils such as cilantro to help cleanse. You
could stop breathing.
Not a good option.
That might also cause some problems.
Yeah. We've got perfumes and colognes, and like with Stacey's auntie, a lot of the perfumes are petrochemical based, and so our bodies will react. We will have headaches and other problems and want to throw up, and so that's what we experience with the synthetics. Pesticides have a lot of xenoestrogens in them too, and medications. The plastics in medications are sometimes xenoestrogenic, and sometimes even the pill is pure xenoestrogen. Okay, and of course we have beauty products that have lots of these plastics and toxins. So we're surrounded by xenoestrogens, and what happens is when we get too much, the men and the women, we have really unintended signals that are triggered in our bodies. So little girls, maybe 9 years old, they'll bud and blossom and become developed sooner than they should. They might have their periods earlier than they should, and it's an issue because they don't usually shouldn't be having it that early. So like my cousin in Vietnam, I asked her, and she's like one of the tiniest, skinniest person I know, and she said she got her periods when she was 17. I thought, whoa, okay. And one of my friends, he's a doctor, and he said, yeah, it's around 15, 14 is how it used to be. And I thought, oh, okay. Now it's a lot sooner because we have a lot of this xenoestrogen in nearly everything around us. So men have issues such as infertility, man boobs, and prostate cancer. And women have endometriosis, PMS problems, and infertility and breast cancer. So what we need to be aware of when people say that, I've got this problem, sometimes we just say, hey, let's just get rid of the toxins in your environment. And that's a good place to start, okay? Instead of, let's find this, but when they're still taking on a lot of these other toxins, it's like a 2-step forward, 1 step back dance. So it's not as effective. Alrighty. So we have in doTERRA, we have the phytoestrogen lifetime complex, and it's a herb. And the idea of it is to help balance the hormones. So sometimes when the hormone levels, like the estrogen levels too high, even though it's a plant type estrogen, it actually kind of lowers it and balances the hormones. That's the idea. People can take 1 or 2 a day, depending on how bad they are. We have a daughter that is blossoming and budding, and she has hot flushes, very bad ones, and then she'll break down and cry and melt, and Ben and I would not know what to do. So we tried some oils, which is good.
Don't try reasoning. That ever happens. Logic just doesn't work.
Debbie Gordon does not know what this feels like because she's got 5 boys. Anyways,
lucky.
But we thought maybe she could.
And you don't know what I go through with 5 boys.
Maybe we're lucky. But yeah, we had her take one of these, and it's been so much better for her. And she's had a lot of, she's been calmer, and her whole body was sweating, and she would turn on the fans and run outside, and it's cold outside, and she's like, oh, it's so hot in here. We're like, we're cold. What are you going on about?
So does everybody understand the concept behind how this works? You got the regular estrogen that your body produces, and you've got xenoestrogen, which is synthetic, and then you have plant-based estrogen, which is a natural solution to help get rid of the bad estrogen.
Basically balancing it out.
Balance it out.
I'll tell you about my mum. She is older, and she was getting irregular periods and lots of migraines from just hormone imbalance. And when I talked to her, I told her, maybe you can try this and see how it goes. What she discovered was she started getting regular periods again. And it was interesting for her because she said she's had months where she had not had any periods. But it was good because it kind of tapered off very, very gently, and it helped her have a really smooth transition to the next phase of her life. And it was very liberating. I've had a lot of friends that say that really helps. I mean, that and the Claricum together worked. One without the other didn't work as well. So it's very interesting. Debbie, do you want to add to this?
I was actually making a note here to you, but you know what? Anytime we're having hot flashes as a young girl, we've got to really watch for polycystic ovarian syndrome, okay? We've got to watch for those progesterone receptor sites filled up with stressor hormones instead of progesterone. Mm-hmm. And so be aware of that with your daughter there. That's actually concerning to me because, Ben, that PCOS is rampant in our generation, not our generation, but the next generation down. Mm-hmm. Okay, every family in my siblings' family, we're seeing PCOS across the board, and not just in my family, but in our aunts and uncles' families. So watch your daughter for that, okay, PCOS.
So PTOS.
It's PC, polycystic ovarian syndrome.
Okay.
So watch that, it's rampant.
Yep.
In our family, okay. And there is a thyroid component to it too. Mm-hmm. So support her thyroid.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's what I was going to ask for. Oh, yeah, go ahead first.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay. So with the phytoestrogen complex, I know I had concerns because I have like severe adrenal fatigue or like thyroid issues. And I always watch my soy intake. So with this supplement, And I know that like soy is one of like the primary components to it. So what would you say for like people that like, I don't know, have thyroid? Because I know soy like mimics the thyroid hormone in the body. So.
Yep. Soy, if it's not the natural soy, a lot of the soy products are actually high in estrogen. And
Actually, very badly.
It's very
We
bad.
avoid all soy all
Yeah.
over.
Yeah.
This is a bit different.
So we emailed doTERRA and asked them, and they said it's non-GMO, and it's organic soy that they're using. Yeah.
So it's not the Frankenstein soy that is grown all over. It's actually what came from the earth before all the genetic modification.
Yeah.
Nature's soy.
So it
This
won't
is
like
a
mess
really
with.
fine product.
Sorry, what was that?
Will
I
it
said-
not like mess with hormones or anything then?
Oh, the idea is to help balance it. That's why they produced it.
Okay.
So it's a natural
Yeah.
phytoestrogen. It's a natural kind of estrogen to help cleanse out the bad estrogen. So it's freeing up those receptor sites and restoring balance. Because when you have a lot of xenoestrogen and your regular estrogen in there together, it's falsely boosting up your estrogen levels, which can cause all sorts of problems. And we're going to talk about some of those in a little bit.
I have a question, if you don't mind, if I pop in here. The phytoestrogen, I have never purchased it yet, but I want to. Actually, I did just order it. It hasn't arrived yet. Is it a liquid form, or is it is it oil, olive oils in it, or is it like granular?
Powder. It's a powder.
Okay, so the reason I asked is I'm just curious. My kids, as you saw them running in and out, are 5 and 7, and I have a lot of I don't know if it's genetic, but I have endometriosis and cysts all the time on my ovaries, and my biggest wish in life is that they don't get it. So all of the things that you listed before that have a lot of phytoestrogen in it, or not phytoestrogen, the fake estrogen in it.
The xenoestrogens.
Xenoestrogen, thank you. I'm doing a really good job at avoiding that. I'm sure there's a lot that I'm missing still, but I really am cautious of that. But is there something from doTERRA that I can be using on my girls to already balance their hormones at ages 5 and 7, like as they grow?
Yeah, I'll tell you what my opinion is on that. So here's the capsules here.
Okay.
So they're just powders, okay, from the xenoestrogen.
And I'll actually take these during a detox as well, because that's one of the things that you're kind of trying to remove from your body.
Yeah, I could tell you, I have my opinions on stuff like cyst and things. There's a lot of emotional stuff behind that. So when we start to address it and remove it, I can tell you that I've seen people don't pass it on and they don't manifest it. There are a lot of people that have never had it genetically. They'll have it because of the environment right now that we're living in. Yeah, because of.
I would like to talk to you later about that, if that's okay.
Yeah, because I know that when we have a health problem, it's something that we can deal with and control, even though some of it might be genetics, because the whole idea of our body, us having a body is so that the body can talk to us and help us come closer to God and the light. Okay, so it's not just, hey, you're broken, fix it and maintain it. There's more to that. And once you realize that, I can tell you that so many stories of people healing from some major, major things that science can't explain. But I'm not going to go through it right here in the recordings. We'll have to talk about that later. Okay. So here's a wonderful liquid form of the oils that does similar things to the phytoestrogen. The oils have natural ability to balance the hormones anyways, and that's what you were asking. Is there something that will help the kids right now detox it? It's a lot of the oils that help cleanse our system anyways, and say lavender does have what do we call it, esters in there that can help with, I believe, help with the hormones.
Yeah, so you've got this the herbal and this Claricalm. It's just a blend of essential oils.
Yeah.
And there's actually a lot of essential oils in this blend.
This one
Usually
has
you
a
only have
lot.
a few essential oils. This has a lot in there.
Yeah, yeah. So this one is a pretty powerful oil. How have you guys used it?
I live on it. Constantly use it when I have a cyst or when I'm ovulating, rubbing it on my abdomen and my temples and my heart. But I don't necessarily use it daily, so I'm thinking that this is something I need to be using daily.
But there's other oils that are very similar to this that you can use daily. So you can use this, around the week before and the week after the periods, but then there's other oils that you can use in between that
Okay.
would help balance too. Yeah. But like Megan said, great for cramps, great for, ladies that have hot flashes. Mm.
I love this
Really,
one.
really-
Actually, oh, go ahead. Sorry, Debbie.
This has been life-changing for me personally, absolutely life-changing. This came out, I breastfed, so my history is infertility, adoption, multiple pregnancy losses, biological children in my later years. And when I had finally got pregnant and carried a pregnancy to term, it put my polycystic ovarian syndrome disease in remission. And as soon as I stopped breastfeeding my youngest child, and I breastfed long term, he was 3.5 when I stopped breastfeeding him because that keeps it in remission. And as soon as I stopped him, I started having a problem with ovarian cysts again. And that was in the summer of 2010, I believe. And that fall was when doTERRA came out with this Claricalm, and it was absolutely, positively, divinely inspired for Debbie Gordon. It has been life-changing for me. I use it all the time.
Yeah.
I have not,
Awesome.
Liter size.
I have not used it yet. But the funny thing is, my brother suggested that we buy it for my daughter. And he said, I cannot testify to it, but someone that he has showed the oils to got it and said, this is a lifesaver. And somebody else told me about it and had let me borrow theirs before. And so he said, whatever you do, go buy it, because she has really, really bad periods where she'll have to leave school. She can't walk around, things like that. And so we bought it and we just got it, but she hasn't had any. We're waiting to try it. So yeah, we're excited to see if it can help her, just be able to get by and not be in any pain or anything.
So have her smell it, because sometimes your body will ask for it and it won't make sense to you in your head, because we have to understand everything and wrap our heads around it, but sometimes the body just asks for it and it's got its own reasons, so we can trust it. If she smells it and her body says, ooh, yummy, can I have it for the next couple of days, just have her use it.
Oh, and you know how you said the week before and the week after? Her doctor has tried to help her. They put her on a pill and they tried different things, but they said 3 days before she expects it and 3 days after to take Advil or something just to help her. So we just thought if we mark it and we know that way, whoever was talking about, so that you don't use it all the time and your body doesn't just get used to it and then when you need it, it won't work. You can use those other oils that Jade was talking about and save this for just a few days, 3 or 4 days before and 3 or 4 days after. They said those are the most where you prepare for the menstruation and your body's receptive to those things to help calm it. So that might help there.
Yeah. I don't know, Debbie, do you want to say anything about that? The oils do work. Sometimes I would use different ones just because there's different pathways. And I just want to be just completely sure that I've taken care of the different pathways. That's why I would switch it up. Yeah.
Notice in this blend how many flower oils there are. And anytime a woman needs hormonal support, think flower oils. Or men, if men need hormonal support,
Big men.
Pink men?
If we need to, in my home, if I need to calm the testosterone, I will pull out Clary Calm. I'll be frank with you.
Yep.
Okay.
I thought she was going to say
Anytime we need to
flowers.
calm that hormonal
Yep.
rush,
Yep.
think flower oil. It is
Yeah.
magnificent.
And
And the best thing, I had an
Before-
naturopathic doctor tell me one time that the best thing I ever did for my hormonal imbalance was get involved with essential oils. They are life-changing. They are cellular nutrition.
yes, that's
So
right.
they really can support the body in its healing.
So I can tell you a story about a guy with the Clary Calm. So my friend's a chiropractor. She does a lot of energy healing, and the guy has lots of problems with women. So all these women break his heart, and one after the next. And he's this beautiful, handsome guy. And so she's like, you know, smell this. And he was like, whoa, that's great. I love it. And so she put a sticker on it to cover the word women's blend, and just had the name of it. So he came back and kept on buying this because it helped him really accept women and, you know, and be safe with women. Isn't that interesting? But it really does help with the balancing with hormones. We've used it for men too. I mixed this and frankincense to make it more masculine. I don't know. It's what they're
There-
buying.
We marked before I moved with Jason, and we were always getting anxious just preparing and stuff. We would mark, and I would say, oh, you know what, I'm starting to get worried and stressed and talk about this. It's just and I look at the calendar, I'd say, oh, it's just the week before my period. That's when I always worry. And Jason, we wound up figuring out that it was like the following week or so, he would always stress out and stuff. And I said, oh, it's just your man period. It's just, it just happens. It's always the same week. You just need to calm down, and we'll talk about this next week when you're like back to normal. So I told my brother, like, me and my brother would do that. I'd be like, oh, you're just being that way. It's just your hormones for this week. And so I really think that that's true. And then my aunt, I grew up with my aunt always using herbal things before oils or anything, and she would always tell us to drink to like get rose hips and drink chamomile tea. And she always said, like, because she had 4 girls and a boy, and so she always would tell them, you need to go drink some rose hips, you need to go have some chamomile with rose hips and stuff like that. So I guess the flower thing
Wow.
is a calming,
Yeah.
helpful.
That's awesome. Yep. I like that. Yeah, that's exactly right. Flower. I think flower too, geranium or lavender. So here, what we're talking about is, you know, sometimes when people say, oh, my hormones are not balanced, they think it's a straight line, that you're supposed to have it exactly this way, but it does go up and down during the month. So when your estrogen level's high, your progesterone level's low, and then it should switch, and it's inverse of each other. So your estrogen level shouldn't be high all of the time. When it's all of the time, your progesterone level doesn't rise and it doesn't do its job. So we get to lots of health problems when you know, it doesn't go up and down properly. The idea of these products is to help it go up and down, and then taper off. And that's exactly what happened for my mum. You know, instead of having all ridiculous symptoms of hormonal imbalance, it kind of leveled pretty well. It kept on going up and down properly, and then it tapered off, and it was happy. Dr. Heal said that, you know, it's not, it's a natural human thing. It's not like a health problem where people have to go to the doctors and get hormone replacement therapy. Because he said that that's like pure xenoestrogen that you're plugging into your body, and it can lead to very bad things like breast cancer, right? Yep. So moving on. So one of the things that when we have high estrogen level, I just like to simplify it and say, when you have high estrogen level, your body is in a fat storing mode, because you're preparing in some way to feed a baby and make a baby and prepare for, you know, motherhood, even guys. So that's why guys have man boobs and, you know, fatty hips and thighs and other problems too. When we have when the progesterone level is high, then it's a fat burning mode that it's in, and it is a calcium absorbing mode too. So even though we like to take supplements to help with calcium and everything, if our estrogen level is high, your body is not in the calcium absorbing mode, you see. And so a lot of people have problems with their bones, and they constantly say, well, I do a lot of, supplements for calcium and things like that. Why am I still having this problem? It's because your progesterone level is important to consider. All right. Yes. Does anyone have anything to say?
Go back to that slide one more time. As our hormones change through menopause, though, we do see a real effect with our bone density mass. And so that's where you can flip to this next slide, and the bone nutrient complex is very vital.
Yeah. So I want to tell you, though, what my experience is. There's a lot of people from other countries that don't have a lot of xenoestrogens in their diet and their environment, and they live pretty much on the land. And we've seen lots of people that are old, but they're very strong, and their bone mass is very, it's strong. They don't have this major problems where, in the West, we have somebody fall over and, suddenly if it's an older person, we think, oh no, fracture, hip replacement, probably knee replacement and everything else, because it's so common. It's just interesting what I've read about bone and the food and the environment and the xenoestrogen versus not a lot of xenoestrogens in this society. What Debbie said is very important. The bone nutrient from doTERRA is very affordable. It's big, it's 2 months worth. And calcium and magnesium and vitamin D's, it goes together and it helps each other and helps your body absorb it. So if one of it is if it's alone, your body has a harder time absorbing it. So it's very intelligent that they put magnesium and the vitamin D's into it as well.
Yeah, it's not just important that the supplement has calcium, but it has to be in a bioavailable format. So this is a form of calcium that your body
Can absorb,
recognizes and can absorb. And the vitamin D and vitamin D3 help in that absorption process.
Yep. So it comes in a kit, and we call it the Women's Health Kit. And that's not the price that you pay, but the Aussies that are watching, this is the price you pay. Okay, so moving on. Alrighty, so the next thing is we just want to help people help themselves balance their hormones. And so we'll talk a little bit about sleep. We have lavender and balance. Balance stops the monkey brains so that we can stop thinking and go to sleep. Lavender is calming. Vetiver is grounding, and juniper berry, rubbing it on your tummy helps your organs go to sleep. So the body clock doesn't wake you up. Sometimes the certain organ that's unhappy wakes you up in the middle of the night, and you have to go to the bathroom several times, and it's disruptive. Berry, rubbing it on the tummy is just very effective in that way. And of course we have Serenity and Serenity soft gels. So if you don't have a very, very good quality deep sleep, then your body will have a hard time balancing the hormones. And so even if you take all the precautions and everything, if you don't have sleep, then it's not doing you a favor.
And now the Serenity blend has vetiver and whole wheat in it. So we used to add those in.
Yeah, we used to do that already.
Now it's being included this year.
Yeah, so happy that it's done that. And of course, feeding your cells with proper supplementation. So that's important, of course, because then your cells are able to be strong enough to produce the chemicals it needs to balance. Okay. The other aspect to hormone balancing is cleansing your body, and we need to cleanse out that xenoestrogen. And there's other toxins and debris from medications and things that are in our system. Our body's very effective in storing it in fat cells. So citrus oils help open up and liberate that. But then that means sometimes you might feel uncomfortable. You might get headaches, you might get skin irritations. Just keep drinking water. And perhaps go through the detoxing, the cleansing program. So the petrochemicals is one of those things that it dissolves. So keep drinking water to help flush things out. some people have told me, yeah, I did the cleanse for 30 days. I see no difference. And sometimes it's you got to keep cleansing until you do see differences, because sometimes it took a lifetime for you to accumulate all of the debris and the garbage inside. So 30 days might not be enough. So do it every quarter if you can. Alrighty, so we have other oils. Like I said, sometimes you want to switch it up. And Whisper is the very popular oil for, again, I think it's another balancing oil. It's got lots of flower oils in there. Ylang ylang and jasmine, amazing. And where Megan, there's a little bit of vanilla in here. It's a wonderful oil. Does anybody have a story about Whisper they want to share?
I just absolutely love it. And I love how it smells. And I love that women get so excited when they wear it because, it's your own perfume. Nobody's going to smell the same because it mixes with your own pheromones differently than it would with anybody else. So it's kind of a unique daily oil that people can wear as a natural perfume with no side effects, but also to help with balancing your hormones. So it's kind of a win-win.
Awesome. Anyone else have a story about Whisper?
You can mix it with a couple other essential oils like Belvedere and bergamot, I think, and a couple other ones. And I actually was trying to make a healthy version of Coco Chanel. So if you do some witch hazel and put it in there, it's
awesome. Wow. I should smell it when I see you next.
Yeah, it's really good. I actually kind of like it better than the cocoa, so don't touch Chanel.
Cool. So another name for this is actually man magnet. Did you know about that?
I did, yeah.
It was totally weird and random, but I had this out about 4 years ago when I was still in Ohio. We did a expo, and this old lady, really old, she came along and she says, oh, I like essential oils. Which oils should I use? And I thought, oh, you might like this one, because I thought, everybody likes this stuff. So she smelled and she says, what does it do? And I said, well, it makes you happy. And I didn't know too much about it. And I said, but also somebody told me that it was a man magnet oil. And she was, really? So she put it on. She's so cute. She's like, oh, it smells great. And as she was standing there, we had a gentleman walk past, and then he backtracked, and he stood there right in front of us, and he was like, what's that smell? What's that smell? And we're both just staring at him like, whoa, that happened really quickly. So she's like, oh, me. And I thought, oh, my goodness, that's exactly right. That rumor is true. So, yeah, Ben didn't like it when I first introduced it to him. He thought it was old lady smell.
Oh,
Yeah.
I like all essential oils.
But
this one particularly smells like flowers.
But when I put it on me, it was different. So he didn't even recognize it. So it's fun at classes, and you just put it on each other and smell how different it is.
Yeah, it smells
on each
like
other.
grandma.
See? From the bottle, it smells like grandma.
Grandma smells really good.
Alrighty. So moving on. So
Okay, that's actually
that's
actually
basically
it for all the women things.
the next part is just about emotions. So
there's a mood management essential oils. Because essential oils, your olfactory senses in your nose pick up a lot of. They deal with smells. They also deal with mood and emotions and memories as well. So doTERRA has come out with the mood managing essential oils. So you got, emotional spectrum and your physical spectrum, no peace, no passion. On the physical side, you got stress or fatigue. And when you put these together, you have 4 different quadrants. And those, if you're angry and impatient, that can manifest in physical symptoms, stomach ache, headache. On the other side here, when you're fatigued and have no passion, you can feel unmotivated, discouraged. And the physical symptoms that manifest from that, brain fog, chest tightness. Whereas down here in quadrant 3, If you have no passion and you're very stressed, you feel hopeless and withdrawn, and that can also result in chest tightness, lower back pain. When you're tense and in quadrant 4 here, digestive upset and neck pain. So the idea here is to use essential oils to kind of balance that out.
So know the root of your symptoms.
Yep. So you have Serenity here. It's called Lavender Peace in some countries. Citrus Bliss, Elevation, and Balance. So that's your mood management oils. And on top of that, there are the emotional aromatherapy. If you're not aware of these, try to get yourself a kit there that you can buy them individually, and they're also available in roll-ons. The Touch blend of all your emotions: cheer, passion, forgive, console, peace, and motivate. And that's actually the end of all the things that
we teach for the women's health and hormones.
Women's health and
One
hormones.
thing very important that I want to add to this last slide is sometimes when we have an emotional concern, we don't have to brave it out and hold on to it. If we can resolve it as soon as we can, it won't lead and won't grow and lead into some major big problems, big health problems that will manifest physically. So if we get rid of it, say forgive. If we have a hard time forgiving ourselves, forgiving others for wronging us, or because we feel fearful somehow, if we get rid of it and address it right here and now, then it would never be, sitting there leading to something else. Okay, and something else might be quite severe. I've seen lots of generational stuff hidden in certain parts of the body.
And when it comes to like mourning, or we had a friend that had someone pass away, and they found this Console essential oil very helpful in their mourning process and going through that.
Yeah, sometimes if we don't process it properly, it stores and it stays there a long time. Yeah, anyone want to say anything? Because we're done.
Anybody want to add anything to that?
I love this kit. I use it all the time. I think every day we go through so many varied emotions that if we will address the emotional concerns or the emotions as they come up, we'll stave off a lot of the physical symptoms.
Yeah, absolutely. Totally agree with that, Debbie.
Thank you, everybody, for. Is there anything else? Any questions or anything?
Sarah, was that okay for you? Did it help?
Yes, it really, really did. And I'm so grateful that I stumbled across this, because I was brainstorming with a girl on my team today that I'm hopefully doing Diamond Club coming up. So we're trying to come up with different class ideas. And we wanted to do kind of a women's information health class. And we wanted to try and make one, but here you are. And I love you so much. I could kiss you for just telling me to just do this.
Toronto sometime?
Pardon me?
Will you go to Toronto if you do Diamond Club?
I'm not sure. I'm kind of in the far other end of Canada, so it's not really in my plan, but never know.
Let me know if it happens, because we have a lot of girls in Toronto that would like to.
They can organize a class.
Yeah, to organize a class and have you come out.
Great, thank you.
Yeah. We have Catherine. Catherine's from Toronto.
Yeah, and feel free to steal or borrow or use any of our stuff. We have videos of this class and the slideshows and keynote in PowerPoint form.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, because we want to heal the world, right?
So do I.
I feel like Michael Jackson's song.
Don't sing. Kayla, cover your ears.
I get it. Okay. Stop.
Please come to Toronto.
I'm gonna sing in Toronto.
I think she's asking Sarah to go.
That's amazing.
Not you, Benjamin.
Thank you, Ben and Jade. This has been fantastic. Appreciate you.
I'm gonna go
Thank
ahead
you,
and stop our
everyone.
recording here. Thank you.